It's a pleasure and honor to be here. It really is. It truly is. I was thinking about what to say to you folks, and it occurred to me that all of us, being members of the human family, of course, we enjoy and even celebrate it when a fellow man or woman does something that's never been done before. And it was dramatized in my mind just a couple weeks ago when Roger Bannister died. Now, in 1954, he's the first guy who broke the so-called 4-minute mile. And it was a big event, huge event actually in real time, because people saw it coming back then. They knew he had the ability, and we use this Dewey Decimal System, and I think we like to connect with zeros and fives, and in Roger's case, he had that 400 there. And the whole world was watching when he broke the record, and he was vastly acclaimed for that accomplishment, and was rightfully acclaimed once again when he finally died a few weeks ago. So how about baseball? What about the number 500? And how about specifically, can anybody hit a baseball 500 feet? Well, it's been done, but frankly, not very often. It's extraordinarily difficult for a human being to hit a baseball 500 feet in the air. To put it in perspective, so far, when everybody's getting bigger, stronger, faster every year, so far, in the 21st century, there's been a grand total of 1 hit in Major League Baseball. That was by Adam Dunn. Now, we're hearing a lot about Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton now batting back-to-back for the Yankees. And they're capable of doing it, but the truth is, so far, they haven't done it. Haven't hit a single ball in a game over 500 feet. Now, let's connect back with Babe Ruth and all the people who preceded him. Did anybody back then hit a ball 500 feet? Well, for the first 40 years of baseball, actually no one did. We have the research means to look at all the old strong men of the 19th century, guys by the name of Roger Connor, Dan Brothers, into the early 20th century, 3 guys who trained here in Hot Springs with a history here, Honus Wagner, Gavy Kravitz, and Sam Crawford. They were the strongest hitters of their time, and we know that they never came close to 500 feet. Frankly, no one thought it was humanly possible. Now, do we know exactly how far they hit the ball? No. Today we have computer analysis with precise data, exit velocity, launch angle, that sort of thing. So today we can measure within a foot. But we still have the capability going all the way back to the 19th century of figuring out within 10 feet or so how far guys were hitting baseballs. And no one had hit anything over 450 feet, nobody. So along comes Babe Ruth in 1915, and this, of course, is largely St. Louis Cardinals territory. And in Babe's rookie year, playing against the St. Louis Browns in St. Louis, he hit a ball about 470 feet. And folks, believe me, the language was hyperbolic when it happened. No one could believe that it happened, but he was a pitcher, so he didn't bat that many times. And as Tim and Tom have said, he became the very best there was, and he was happy about that. But as we've also talked about already, 3 years later, in 1918, Babe knows he's already the greatest left-handed pitcher in Major League Baseball, and he doesn't want to sit on the bench 3 out of every 4 days. It's just not his personality or his nature. He wants to bat. He wants to play every day. So Babe's 3 years stronger, and just a word, he did work prodigiously hard. That winter, he had actually stayed with his first wife in a small cottage with no electricity in the northern suburbs of Boston. And in order to survive the winter, he literally had to chop all the wood himself. And that's what he spent the winter doing. So he showed up here in March of 1918, and he's 23 years old. He's a lean 210 pounds, and this guy is a biological wonder. So as we've already discussed, the first game is against the Brooklyn Dodgers right here, and he's batting right here. And Babe connects with the ball, and the darn thing, it just goes speeding out like a roaring locomotive right there towards the alligator farm. Now, where did it land? Well, we can't be exactly sure. We know that it wound up bouncing around in the alligator farm. We know from the Boston Post that it went through the top of a tree on this side of the road, so it had to have landed somewhere near there at the very least. But let's be as cynical as we possibly can, okay? Let's be the naysayer. Are we absolutely 100% certain that that St. Patrick's Day homer went 500 feet? Well, no, not exactly. I think it did. But let's be cynical and say, nah, babe, you came a nickel short. It's 490. Again, I don't believe that. But let's just say that for argument's sake. Now, it's World War I at this point, and the roster for the Red Sox is depleted somewhat, and their first baseman hadn't been here at first. So on that day that we just talked about, Babe had been playing first base. But now that first baseman's back, and on the 24th, which is exactly 100 years to the day, right now, where we all are, he plays again. Here he's standing. And what's he thinking? First baseman's back. My manager, Ed Barrow, is going to stick me back on the mound. That's okay, but I want to hit. So he's playing the outfield now, but he knows he's scheduled to pitch 3 innings later this game. I want to hit. The first inning, he launches one across the street, and it's foul ball. He straightens one out, and it lands in a woodpile out by the center field fence. And he circles the bases, and he has a home run. Now, the Brooklyn Dodgers, the Boston Red Sox, they all know that they've got nobody on the roster that can hit a ball nearly as far as he had just done twice. But in his head, he's thinking to himself, what else can I do? This is my moment in time. That guy sitting on the bench over there, he wants me to be a pitcher. I can do even better. I can do better. Comes up a second time, the bases are loaded, and he knocks one. He unleashes the full fury and power in his body, and he makes perfect contact. And this ball speeds off like a rocket just to the right of the alligator farm, okay? Keeps going, across the street. There's an old lake there, which is long gone, clears the lake. We have some accounts that say the ball landed at the back of the lake. Some accounts say it landed across the lake. Another account says it cleared the roadway by 200 feet. Lastly, we have a key one that says it lands on the foothills of those mountains over there. So you're talking about something that no human being should have been able to do, but he did it. But hearkening back to when Roger Bannister did what he did, the entire world press was watching. They were waiting for it to happen. We had no frame of reference for that when Babe Ruth did this. So it was reported with great passion, but the event really didn't move forward into history until the modern era when we've had a better and closer look at it. So nobody around the country really knew this had happened. People here did, people in Boston did, maybe a few folks in Brooklyn. But it was a significant event because it had never happened. But it didn't get recognized. Well, folks, we're here today because we get a do-over. We're here today. We can do today what they didn't do back 100 years ago. We can celebrate an extraordinary accomplishment in the history of our species. Come on up, girls. Okay. So what are we going to do right now? We're going to relive this. I invite everybody to connect with your hearts and your minds and your imagination. It's 100 years ago today. Let's do that somewhere in time thing that Christopher Reeve did for anyone who saw the movie, okay? Let's relive it. Let's give it the attention it deserves. And how could we do it better than have Babe's 2 great-great-granddaughters? Please meet Lexi and Maddie. Now, you look out there all the way across to the alligator farm where they just were this morning, okay? Let's all of us do it, okay? Here comes B. He's walking up to the plate. This is my moment in time. If I don't do something here, I may never get a chance to do it again. This is my moment. What am I going to do? Well, we already talked about it. He gave it everything he had. That ball, ready? It's pitched. Babe unfurls the mightiest swing in baseball history. There it goes. Is it ever going to land? Look at it fly. Wow. It's going to go over the fence. Oh my goodness. It's going to clear the road. Holy smoke, it's going to land in the lake. Wait a second. It's going over the lake. Oh my goodness. It's on the mountain. Folks, that was a miracle, in my judgment. That was a miracle. We just saw baseball's first 500-foot-plus home run. Well, miracles sometimes do happen. And in my judgment, Babe Ruth was one of the greatest miracles we've ever had. So, happy anniversary, Babe. Thank you for all the memories, and thank you to you folks.